Hey, I wanted to hop on and give a quick update, kind of the what's next and when type situation of what we're seeing. I've been doing a lot of studying over the past week, call it 2 weeks, of the economic situation going on with the coronavirus, looking at all the big accounting firms, what they have to say, all the big business consulting firms. It's kind of my job to steer strategy in a large organization. So wanted to share some of that insight with you real quick. So I've put a few of the things down on here that I think are really important. I'm not going to go totally in depth on this because there's a lot out there and there's a lot changing. So the really what obviously what we do know. I mean, this is blatantly obvious is that some businesses are going to recover faster than others. But what we also know is we're not at that point. We're seeing some businesses take off, some things in healthcare, some things in delivery, some different types of businesses are doing well right now. A lot of other businesses, the majority of other businesses are struggling big time. And that's why the government has stepped in with the CARES Act and the payroll protection and things like that. But really, what we do know, one is that it's going to be challenging for a while. Expect the next few weeks to be really challenging with respect to society, economy, things like that. Why? Because we're going to see some spiking in the coronavirus cases. We're going to see a lot of healthcare working hard to get their arms around this thing, but we do know that kind of we have to go through the hard part to get to the easier part, and we know we've seen some buildup on that. But ultimately, what's going on is we have a lot of healthcare that's working hard. Here's a key point. Key point for you. I think this is more important than anything else. Don't ruin your relationships in the process of this. Okay. I don't care where you are in the world. And I've been talking to people all over the world lately. Don't ruin your relationships. Okay. Even with the manager of the grocery store, if you're in there and you're in a bad mood, just let it go. Relax. Okay. With your mortgage company, a lot of people get upset at different organizations. They get upset at different vendors during this time. You might be somebody that somebody's upset with. You might be a landlord or something like that. And people might be upset with you. The reality is a lot of people are on edge. Okay. We have to take a deep breath. Two people on edge goes over the edge. It just doesn't work. So when you see somebody that's on edge, just step back, deep breath, and we'll figure this out. All right. Think about this when you're talking about if you run a business, your suppliers, your vendors, your partners, everybody that you're in business with, everybody's in the same situation. Everybody is. Okay. I mean, it's likely that if you are in this row of dominoes in an industry, it's likely that everybody involved in that has the same problems. They need to pay their rent. They need to pay their employees. They need to pay for their services rendered, things like that. And there's going to be some give and take. There's going to be some give and take. And I mean, as somebody who runs a business, we talk about these things all day long. And sometimes you need to wait and pause and figure out what's going on overall instead of rush to conclusions. So just be patient. Be patient with each other. Be kind to each other, and you'll get this figured out. I can assure you of that. Things will work their way out. Okay. So that's the first thing. We all need each other right now. We really do. And when this thing's done, you don't want to be sitting there looking at somebody that you just burned the bridge with. It does not make for a comfortable situation, nor does it make for good business practice. So keep your cool. Hashtag keep your cool. That's right, Matt. Great point. So let's look at the reality of what else is going on here. Okay. First of all, I think like a village. There's some things in there. I love this quote. Experts correctly anticipated 7 out of the last 3 macroeconomic events. There are a lot of people saying "I told you so" going on right now. Don't worry about that. Okay. The experts out there, I've read all the expert reports, all the expert opinions, things like that. They're learning a lot about this as we go along. But here's what we know. Here's a key. Your business context is and will remain uncertain. But if you get moving now, You can ride the waves of uncertainty instead of being overpowered by them. This is key. This is key. Business is going to be uncertain. But if you ride the waves of uncertainty instead of being overpowered by them, okay, you will do much better than you would by allowing them to crush you. It's important. What does that mean? That means that you need to take control of some things. You need to take control of how you manage these things. I gave you some information down below that I'm going to get to here, but we're going to dig into that. What businesses are going to do well and what are not? One big question I have a lot of people ask me is, what about housing? Right? What about housing? I saw it today. There was a opinion posted on Fox News. It was pretty well substantiated that when you talk about housing, real estate is going to come out of this better than a lot of other industries. It really will. I've got the Kiplinger letter in front of me right here, and they're saying the same thing. Once health concerns have subsided, now that doesn't mean this thing's going away, but once health concerns have subsided, so we've learned how to take control of this, housing is going to start coming back relatively quickly. Okay. How fast that upward is, nobody knows. But this is not my opinion. This is what I'm hearing from other people. Okay. This is what National Association of Realtors, this is what a lot of the mortgage industry is saying. This is really what kind of have been seen in China, things like that, if you're in housing, you need to have your customers, really great relationships going in the conversation, things like that, because they want to know. Housing is a long ramp up and it's a long process. So everybody wants to know right now what's going to happen at the end of the year or mid-year or fall or whatever it is. So that's one thing. I've done a lot of research on what are all the experts saying about housing. Well, they're saying that it's likely to be one of the leading businesses coming out of this. What are some of the lagging businesses coming out of this? Anything that has to do with large groups of people. Okay, dining out, lots of travel, events, big group gatherings, things like that. Those are going to take a little while longer because the virus is not going to go once we figure out how to stop spreading it. It's going to take a little while. It's going to take us having a vaccine, which we know that's several months away, is what the latest is. I'm no expert. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm hearing. So, I keep understanding that. Anything involving crowds. So here's what's winning in business right now. They're stepping up to be closer to their communities. And the businesses that are doing that are the ones who are going to win in this. And this isn't necessarily about winning and losing. This is about, one, survival. This is about, two, helping people. And three, prospering in the future. Because business needs to happen. The economics of our country need to recover. The economics of the world need to recover. And the businesses that are staying close to the customers, that are taking advantage of the digitization of information, that are taking advantage of asking questions and responding and understanding challenges and things like that, are the ones that are going to come out better. So keep those things in mind. So I mentioned to you some business principles here, the 5 R's of business. This is strong. I got this from a major business consulting company. Okay. The first one's resolve. There's a scale, pace, and depth of action required by businesses. Stop sitting back and watching. Okay. I mentioned before, don't hide. Don't be a hider, be a leader. Hiders hide, leaders lead. This is where leadership emerges initially, is in the resolve of what's going on right now. Determine what you need to do and do it. Okay. If that determining what you need to do is, maybe you're a writer and you have to write a book, go do it. Maybe you're in marketing and you need to go develop new marketing templates, go do it. Stop sitting back and waiting, and have the resolve to make difficult actions, difficult decisions. If you have some people that are not contributing to the greater cause, you need to think, how do I get them to contribute to the greater cause? Or do we talk something differently? This is important as a leader in an organization. Clean up your organization. Clean it up. Okay? Do you have too much product on the shelf? Do you have the wrong product on the shelf? Make decisions now. Prune, spring cleaning, however you want to call this, but have the resolve to do that. A lot of leaders, this is one of the hardest things to do, is to clean up your organization. Second one, resilience. You got to manage your cash. Know your numbers, expenses, longevity. Um, where can you jump into new opportunities? I can tell you right now that online marketing is a good place to take a look at. A lot of people are buying up marketing opportunities online right now. It's happening. A lot of different M&A is going to start emerging. Companies are going to start looking for partners. Do you see any in your industry? Think about that. So, how do you build resilience? By building strength in your space. Is there somebody you've always wanted to team up with, and you're like, I never called them? Pick up the phone and call them. You don't know what they're thinking. They may be thinking the same thing. I've had that happen. I have called people and going, "Hey, what are you doing?" They're like, "Why are you calling me?" And I mean, it's interesting. So take a look at that. The third one, return. Create a detailed plan to return to business at scale and grow. What's your plan to get back into this? Okay. Or are you looking at where's the bottom? Have a plan to get back into it instead of just looking at where the bottom is. Because it's okay to know that the bottom's down there somewhere, but it's not okay to not have a plan to return to this. So, what's your plan to return to this? How do you think you're going to do that? How are you going to adjust your business, your model, your approach to the marketplace in order to be effective? And frankly, what do you not need anymore? Because you can take and squeeze these other aspects of your business to blow it up when you return to the market. And then the last thing is reform. I'm sorry. Fourth, reimagination. Reimagine the new normal. Reimagine the new normal. It's interesting. I was reading an article about the emergence of the recession and some statements that were made in that. It was fascinating because some of those statements they sounded like they were being said today. They sounded like today. And they talked about reimagining how the business is going to be different than it was yesterday. I mean, we went through some interesting stuff during the, 2008, 9, and 10 period, and then everybody had to reimagine how they would reemerge from this. And it was fascinating because our business model changed. A lot of other business models changed. And then we had more tech ebb and flow. We had more, consolidation of different types of resources, how things were done. Think about that. Reimagine the new norm, what will it look like? And then the last one, reform. How is the shift in regulations and compliance going to impact you? Because we will see a shift in regulation and compliance after this situation. It will happen. We always find a place that we can be better as a society when we go through these things. So where are those places? How do we make adjustments based upon if we have another pandemic? Because all businesses are going to have a pandemic response protocol coming out of this. Start thinking about that. How will I deal with this? What does my cash reserves look like? What does my customer contact information look like? How do I maintain longevity during another one of these when we can't get face to face? All that stuff matters. So think about those things. It's important. Just some business principles here to consider. And text recap for review. Yeah, actually, that's on here, Mike. So take a look at the Facebook post. So these things are on here. Let's see what else we got. David, hey. Matt, hello. Donna, Anna, Sylvia. We got some people saying hello here from, Anna from Roatan. Love Roatan. Beautiful place off of Honduras. So anyhow, think about this, folks. How are we going to come out of this? This is a business question. What are we going to do to get there? One key point. It's going to take all of us. We all have to focus on not getting each other ill. not spreading this thing that is really the hindrance of society right now. It's a safety problem. It's killing people, and it's going to get worse. How do we stop from being part of the problem and be part of the solution as businesses, as human beings, as members of our community? It's incredibly important. And again, I can't stress my first point enough here. Let's keep our relationships intact during this. Everybody, everywhere. I make it a point to wave to everybody in my neighborhood if I'm out and about. If I'm walking my dogs, I see somebody drive by, I wave to them. We didn't do that before. It's really an interesting change. We need to keep that. We need to hold on to that. So, anyhow, that's what I got for you today. I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Spend time with your family. It is book club tonight at the Cantos house. We're reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. Great book. We've done 3 chapters now. I will have some information for you on that soon. But I'm going to dig deep into business here over the next week. So let's talk business more than anything. Have a good one. See ya.